The World Economic Forum, WEF, openly admits to manipulating millions of people online, while top leaders are donating hundreds of millions of dollars to create digital IDs to control people. Despite this, President Biden refuses to speak with Vladimir Putin about peace or war, and the FBI has been caught using $1 million of taxpayer money to cover up one of the biggest stories in American history. It's important to share this information with family and friends. Meanwhile, international warnings are pouring into the U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve to stop raising interest rates. The UN Conference on Trade and Development has warned that if monetary tightening in advanced economies continues, a global recession is more likely, which will harm the potential growth rate in developing economies. However, despite these warnings, the Federal Reserve plans to stick to their plan of raising rates to bring down inflation. The Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell seem more concerned about keeping the U.S. dollar strong globally and avoiding a balance sheet implosion than about kickstarting a global recession. They need to remember that healthy trade partnerships are necessary for the U.S. economy to thrive. Alex Mooney is advocating for the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve to take action against out-of-control inflation and spending by reintroducing the U.S. dollar to a new gold standard. He believes that this would reveal the true value of gold, which has been artificially held down, and force the government and the Fed to be more honest. Mooney has proposed the Gold Standard Restoration Act, arguing that since the U.S. dollar was taken off the gold standard, U.S. debt and spending have spiraled out of control. Despite some people believing that Mooney is overreacting, with the U.S. debt now at $31 trillion, the need for action is becoming increasingly urgent. As a global empire can print money out of thin air, Americans and people around the world are facing tough competition. Some people believe that it's time to reintroduce the gold standard to keep the government honest. This would expose the true value of gold, which could be as high as $50,000 an ounce instead of the current value of $1,650. If you have any thoughts on this matter, feel free to share them in the comments below. In other news, President Biden and Russia's Vladimir Putin are scheduled to attend the G20 summit in November. President Biden has stated that he has no intention of speaking with Putin, but if Putin were to approach him at the G20 summit and request to discuss the release of Griner, he would meet with him. However, he made it clear that he would not negotiate with Putin about letting them keep any part of Ukraine. Biden believes that any talks with Putin would be useless in this regard. Some people believe that a sitting U.S. president should try to negotiate peace with a situation that could potentially lead to World War III. Others argue that it's better to let Putin do whatever he wants. What are your thoughts on this matter? Share your opinions in the comments below. Some people are surprised that Biden wouldn't take the opportunity to privately encourage Putin to seek peace with Ukraine and put an end to the nuclear weapons conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts on what you would say to Putin if you were President Biden, so feel free to share your ideas in the comments below. Moving on to some recent news, two significant pieces of information have emerged this week. Firstly, the World Economic Forum, WEF, has awarded Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, a $105 million cash contract to implement digital passports on Canadian citizens. The WEF aims to control governments worldwide, and with this initiative, they want to track people's movements based on their political affiliations, vaccine status, and gun ownership. All of this information will be stored in a digital ID, which citizens must present to move around the country. Secondly, it has been revealed that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will invest $200 million to create digital IDs that will track people's vaccine status. It's been reported that Gates wants to restrict people's movements unless they have received one of his vaccines. Bill Gates has openly stated that vaccines are his most successful investment, so some people are concerned that he's trying to manipulate governments to force people to receive medical treatments they don't want. This would limit their ability to travel, visit family, go to the mall, or eat out unless they show their papers. Furthermore, Gates is a significant contributor to the World Health Organization and the World Economic Forum, WEF. One of the WEF's ranking members, Melissa Flemings, recently revealed at a disinformation summit how they manipulate and control people. They have partnered with Google, for example, to ensure that when someone searches for information on climate change, the top results are all UN resources. Melissa Flemings, a ranking member of the World Economic Forum, recently spoke at a disinformation summit where she openly admitted to manipulating people through Google search results. When someone searches for information on climate change, the results at the top are UN resources that they want people to see. Fleming stated that they own the science, which means whatever they say goes, despite the fact that scientific information on various issues has been changing frequently. The science that they own is not necessarily reliable or trustworthy, and as more information about the pandemic emerges, it's becoming increasingly evident that their science is not always sound. It's alarming to think that the World Economic Forum could be controlling our thoughts and beliefs by manipulating the information we receive through Google search results. They want us to see the world through their lens, and this begs the question, do we want to form our own opinions or be force-fed what they want us to believe? The illusion of free speech and the ability to find our own information is just that, an illusion. In reality, we are being manipulated and controlled, and this is a dangerous situation. The Nazis during World War II similarly controlled all radios in Germany, leading people to believe that they were receiving unbiased information about the war and the government. However, behind the scenes, they were secretly feeding propaganda to control people's thoughts and beliefs. We must be vigilant and careful to avoid falling into the same trap. It's absolutely mind-boggling to think that the World Economic Forum is controlling what we see on the internet. It raises the question of what other events and topics they may have influenced to shape public thinking and control our minds to push their agenda. It's concerning that they are openly admitting to this manipulation of information. In other news, last month, a lawsuit between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton was dismissed by Judge Donald Middlebrooks, who argued that it had no legal standing and was politically motivated. However, the Trump team disagreed with this decision and has appealed to a different judge. Trump has accused Clinton and her team of falsely creating the Russia narrative, which he claims has caused him damages of over $24 million. The narrative that the Russians were helping Donald Trump win the White House was found to be false, and Trump is now seeking legal action to address the damages caused by this falsehood. In a recent federal court case, it was revealed that the FBI paid British spy Christopher Steele $1 million of taxpayer money to prove the Trump dossier true, despite knowing that it was fabricated by the Russian Danchenko to spy on the Trump campaign. This unethical behavior of using taxpayer money to fabricate and spread false stories for multiple years is appalling, regardless of one's opinion of Trump. Unfortunately, federal courts are revealing that the truth about political figures such as Trump, Obama, Bush, and Biden may not be readily available. President Joe Biden attempted to clarify his controversial statement regarding Putin and the use of nuclear weapons, stating that he does not believe Putin will use them. During a recent CNN interview, President Biden attempted to clarify his controversial statement about Putin potentially using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. He stated that it's irresponsible for a world leader of a major nuclear power to suggest using tactical nuclear weapons and that it could lead to disastrous consequences. Biden also expressed his confidence in getting assault weapons banned before leaving office, claiming he has accomplished more in his first 2 years as president than any other recent president. He believes he can stop Putin, even though he's not willing to speak with him. Biden also plans to run for president in 2024 and is confident he'll beat Donald Trump.